Linda Carabaris, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I have a guest who's been on the program before, who showed you how to create a couple of wonderful Asian dishes, and she's here with me again today. Connie Cheung. Hi,
Linda.
nice to see you again.
Good to see you again. It's good to be here.
And what are we going to talk about today? I've been wanting to do this for a long time, Connie. Introduce people to tofu.
Today we're going to make a couple of tofu dishes. One is a little bit less traditional. We'll do a cubed and baked tofu, and it's going to pick up some different flavors that we'll mix it with. And the second is sort of more of a comfort tofu, which is going to be pan fried and made with ground turkey.
Okay, and I want to talk about tofu a little bit. What I think a lot of people, the one thing I get all the time is like, well, I'd like to try it, but what do I do with it? So it's actually soybeans. I'm going to let you, tell viewers a little bit about the benefits of tofu and what it is exactly.
Tofu is a great product. It's a vegetarian soybean product, and it takes on the flavor of anything that you mix with it. So it's really high in protein, it's no saturated fat, no cholesterol, and it's really, really good for you. It has a lot of great benefits. So the way that we're going to make them, they're going to be able to absorb all of the good flavors that we put in it. So it'll be delicious.
Oh, great, great. Okay, good. All right, now, so you purchase it in a package like this, and again, I like to bring up the fact too, it's inexpensive. These I got 2 for $4,
oh,
so
$2
a piece. Yeah.
Yep, so they come in different kinds. This one is a firm tofu, and pretty much all we're gonna do is cut it open. You wanna drain all of the water out of it.
All right.
So just press the water out of it.
Okay, see that right there, I like what you're doing there, because most of the time I go around the whole
cut it open and then the water just comes up.
See, so I'm going to learn a lot today myself.
We're actually going to drain it a little bit more on this plate.
Okay, and that's the whey. We're going to take what they call the whey out of it, the
yep.
liquid. Okay.
I'm going to open the second package too. Just do the same thing.
Yeah, okay, that I like
press
that.
the liquid out. And I'll put some paper towels on top of the tofu and then just weigh it down to let the extra liquid come out.
Okay, a couple of paper towels.
There we go. Yep.
And right over the top?
Right over the top.
Okay, and then the second, let's see.
Then whatever kind of weight you have, a cast iron pan or a brick, whatever you have handy, and you can just let it drain for a little bit to let the rest of the liquid come out.
Okay, great. Sometimes I put a couple of cans on top too, anything
whatever
that
you have in your cupboard.
All right, and you can leave that for up to 20 minutes to a half hour, correct?
Just to
but
make
you
sure
don't need to.
You don't have to. It's just to get as much liquid out as you can. So
right.
We'll just let it drain for a little bit, and then we'll cube it.
All right, 5 minutes has gone by, and I just want to show everyone how much liquid has come out. And again, you can do this for a half hour if you'd like, and that will just remove more liquid. But this is just 5 minutes, and see some of the liquid that's come out? Yeah, so I'm going to drain that off now into the sink, and I'll let you cube it, Connie. So we're going to use which firmness for the baked?
We're going to use the firm tofu for the baked, and we're going to save the extra firm.
Okay. Is it, okay, that
Yep.
one, because I lost track now.
So I'm going to cut it the long way into thirds.
All right.
I don't know how big you cube it usually, but I like them small little bite size.
Yeah, I'm going to say maybe half-inch pieces, quarter-inch pieces maybe. I'm like you, I like them cubed, the smaller cubes. All
You can cut them as large as you like. It's just the smaller you cut them, the crispier they'll get.
Okay.
Which will be good.
That's what, like 6 cuts across?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's about 6, and then just make them into little 1-inch cubes.
Oh. That's nice. Okay.
And then we'll put them all into the bowl.
Okay. And what do you need? You need the olive oil?
Yep, we'll just do a really easy seasoning on this. Olive oil, salt and pepper. And then when they
Alright.
come out of the oven, we can put more seasoning on it.
Okay. Let me get the pan.
It's just a little
So
bit
see,
of olive
this
oil.
is nice and easy, right, people? Right? Yeah.
It's easy,
Yeah.
like any other protein. So some olive
This
oil.
is a nice, easy one to start out with.
Fresh pepper. Put some salt in it too. And the tofu absorbs whatever you put on it, so as much or as little as you like. Just do a little bit of a toss.
Oh, sorry, I should have given you my gloves, Connie, that I've used I use the latex gloves a lot of times for that.
Hands are good tools too. So it's just mixed a little bit, and we'll put it onto
Okay.
this bacon
Yeah, I'll
shape.
take that for you. All right.
And we've sprayed this down with the non-stick cooking spray too, so perfect.
Okay, great.
Just want to lay them out and separate them.
Yeah, we'll put that here. Okay. So for good roasting, yeah, you want a pan like this, that
Yep.
shallow sides,
Mhm.
right? I try to point that out too. Doing potatoes, anything you want to roast, you want a lot of air circulation, right? Yeah.
That's a good point, yep.
So I do the same thing, spread them out.
Just let them all be separate so they don't clump together when they cook.
I used some cube tofu actually a couple of weeks ago when I had a party. I did the fresh spring rolls.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, and everybody loved them.
They like the tofu?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Okay, great. So now we will put this into the oven,
Okay.
let them bake.
All right. 350 degrees
Yep.
for what, 20 minutes?
We'll start, 20 to 30 minutes. and
Okay.
We'll see how they're making.
Okay, great. All right, well, tofu is continuing to bake in the oven. Connie is going to start her second dish using the extra firm tofu, correct, Connie?
Yep, so I'm just gonna slice this up pretty similar to the way I did it before, just in a little larger pieces. So I'm gonna cut it in thirds this way.
Okay.
And then instead of cubing it,
Hmm.
I'm gonna cut it in half
Okay.
and then into thirds.
Oh, all right. So we're going to have bigger,
Yep.
like square pieces. Okay, for this dish.
Yep. So now we're just gonna start to pan fry
Okay.
them.
Bring this over here. I'll start this for you. A non-stick pan, correct? You want to...
Yep, the non-stick just makes it a lot easier so you don't have little tofu bits sticking to it.
Okay.
We can put a little bit of olive oil in
Alright.
there. Just coat the pan with the olive oil and
Is
then
that good?
Yep, that's good. Wait for it to heat up a little and then can put some salt and pepper on the tofu.
Hmm. Okay.
I'm gonna grab the salt and pepper.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sprinkle some salt and pepper right onto it.
All right.
Just so you get some seasoning on every single layer that you cook, especially since tofu can be really bland.
Right, yeah. Which is one of the benefits of cooking with it so much, is that it will take on
Yep.
any flavor you're cooking it with. Yeah, very versatile, very versatile.
Just need to make sure to season it well, so.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just gonna start pan frying the
Alright.
tofu. Just as many as you can fit in there without
All
crowding
right,
them.
without crowding them, because again, if you put them too crowded, then
They'll
they'll
start to
steam
steam.
instead of
Yep.
fry.
It'll still
Okay.
taste good, just be a different texture.
And you know, you just said something that I try to bring up to viewers too. Again, it still would be fine if you ended up not, you know, crisping them up as much as you should initially. And cooking is all about trial and error.
Exactly.
The nice thing is, it's always going to be something that's going to be edible.
Yep.
And, you know, again, what I do on a lot of recipes is I'll make notes. If they're not as crispy or as well done as I'd like, or too much liquid, I'll make a note right on the recipe.
Yep.
So the next time I'll know, like, use less liquid, use higher heat. So I think that's a good point, yeah.
And sometimes even when you mess up, it still tastes good. So
Right,
you might,
yeah,
you might
that's-
actually prefer when you mess up the way that it tastes over what a recipe says.
You know what,
You
that's
know,
a good
it's-
point too, because I don't know about you, but I'm constantly making adjustments to recipes.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times too, it depends on the type of pan you're using, the depth of the pan, the size of the pan.
And what you feel like eating that day.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so it looks like they're starting to get brown. Actually, they're nice and brown on the bottom,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep, so we're just going to do a
now
quick
it's
flip
time
over.
to. Oh, those look nice. Okay, that's what you want, a nice brown crust.
Yep, so the draining really helped on this to get a really good brown crust.
And really, if you wanted to do all of these at once on a stove top, I'd have 2 pans going for
Yep.
this, right? Like if you were making eggplant or something like that, I have
Yeah.
a couple of pans going. Okay.
Yep, then you can get it all done at once.
Oh, those look nice.
So that's the good color that you want, just a nice crust.
Perfect. All right, so one side took about 5 minutes, and then we
Yep.
flipped them, and it's gonna take about another 5 minutes, Connie, so 10. So we're gonna finish the rest of these, and then why don't we stop prepping to finish off the dish?
Okay, great.
Okay. All right, these look done.
Yep, they're cooked nicely on both sides.
Oh, look at that, beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna put these on the plate for now.
Yep, so we'll just put them off to the side and we'll cook the rest of them.
All right. And then we can show people how to, the baked tofu in the oven is done, so now we
Yep.
can toss that with some sauce, and
Looks good.
we'll finish this dish in a few.
Great.
All right, our tofu is done, and I would say we had that in there, 30 minutes, Connie?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So here's what it looks like, nice and lightly browned.
Yep, so they get a little bit of
This is
crisp
nice.
on them and they're still soft in the middle, so you still get a good contrast in the texture.
Ah.
So we're just going to divide them into 2 different bowls right now so we can show different sauces that you can toss the tofu with.
Okay. I love this too. I love baked tofu.
Delicious little nuggets of protein. Okay. So we have 2 different sauces. The first one is this hot wing sauce. It's just a really good buffalo sauce. It's a little bit thicker. And if you mix this with the tofu, you can use it like you would a buffalo chicken. So you could have it in a wrap, you know, a buffalo tofu wrap or a buffalo tofu salad.
Ah, that sounds good.
So if you mix it while the tofu's still hot, it just coats it really nicely.
And you can use any buffalo sauce,
Yep.
correct?
This is the
Anything
one
will
I
work
really
well.
like, yep.
Okay. The other thing I've done, you can also add the buffalo sauce to begin with
Exactly.
before you put it in the oven, but it will give it a different texture, is that right?
It will. It'll give it a little more crust to it. So if you like that, you just get just a crispier texture to the tofu. But,
Okay.
and then you could also toss it with more buffalo after if you like.
Ah, okay, that's something, yeah, I'll remember that next time, because I like a lot of
Extra
buffalo.
flavor.
Barbecue sauce too, you could use
Yeah.
barbecue, I've done the
would
barbecue
be
tofu.
And the second sauce is an oyster sauce. So it's a little bit of a seafood flavor, and it's still a little bit sweet. And this is good if you want to serve alongside some bok choy or some Asian vegetables, maybe with some rice.
Now, oyster sauce, I got this at the Asian market, but I noticed you can find that at any supermarket, correct?
Yep, they have it in the international or specialty food section as well, so
Okay, it's
just have
easy to find.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, are there actually, it says oyster flavored sauce, are there oysters in that, or?
Sometimes there are, but a lot of them are vegetarian oyster sauces, and it's actually mushrooms in it.
Oh, yeah,
So,
I saw
this
one of
one,
those
yep.
the other day, and I asked about
Yep.
that, yeah.
So it depends. Sometimes it's misleading, but you get a
Okay,
good flavor.
but so if you get the oyster with the mushrooms, then.
It tastes just
okay.
as good.
All
Yep.
right, great.
So we have these 2 different tofus with different sauces, and we can just put them off to the side now and finish our
Yep, we'll
second
finish
tofu.
our
Yep.
stir fry and we'll plate these later. Okay, wonderful.
Great.
All right, looks like our tofu is done. We've completed frying our tofu, and isn't that beautiful? Nice brown crust on it,
On
Connie.
both sides, yep.
So now we're going to complete this dish.
Yep, so the next step we're going to do is we're going to do some ground turkey in the pan. And while I'm doing that, if you could chop some scallions, and also if you could chop up the garlic, that would be great.
Okay, all right, sure. Any kind of Asian cuisine also is, you gotta have the scallions and garlic.
Yep.
And I love it. I got my scrap bowl over here. And just rough chop it, or how do you want the garlic?
If you want to mince the
it?
garlic,
Okay,
yep.
okay.
So for the ground turkey, I'm going to put soy sauce, some salt and pepper just to season it up, a little bit of crushed red pepper flake. Leave the pan heating. I'm going to put some olive oil in here too.
Okay.
Just a little bit. I like it spicy, so I put a little bit more crushed red pepper, but if you don't like it, you don't have to add it.
Yeah, I like the red pepper myself.
Just going to put a little bit of salt. It's really healthy because you just add another layer of lean protein to it. Growing up, my mom made it with ground beef, but as we got healthier, she started making it with ground turkey, and it's just as good.
Ah, great. But if you do like ground beef, I guess now, unlike years ago, you do have the choice of the
Lean,
yeah, ground beef. Yeah.
Or you could use ground chicken. All right, so I'm just going to put the turkey into the pan. Let it start browning. Sliced on diagonal is good.
Thinly?
Could do a little bit rough.
Okay. And Connie, tell me a little bit about your background. I mean, as far as cooking, when did you first have a desire to cook, or how did you learn how to cook? And
My dad loves to cook, so we always like to, watch him cook. And my sisters and I used to do Mother's and Father's Day specials, and we would create a whole menu. And we created a restaurant at home called Happy Foods Inc. So we would have a menu on there, and the specials would be, fruit plate, grilled cheese with ham, sometimes a pancake, simple things. But from an early age, I always liked to cook. I remember.
that's amazing. Yeah. That's a great idea. That's very creative. Wow.
Family is pretty much full of people that love food. So
Yeah.
it's great.
Wonderful.
Yep. All different kinds of food too.
Yeah, yeah. I know, I think that's what's important about today's show. I mean, try something different. I mean, you're going to
Yep.
learn something. You learn to cook another cuisine, different ingredients, and I love that. I cook so many different types of dishes.
And it's also the ingredient that you think is so foreign can be adapted to something that you're familiar with. The tofu with buffalo sauce, or like you said, barbecue sauce. It's a little bit more comfortable.
An excellent point. Yep, because I love learning, how to prepare new ingredients and using new ingredients. That's, to me, that's what cooking is all about.
Okay, so the ground turkey is cooked all the way through now. We're just going to take it off the heat, and then we will make our sauce.
Okay.
So we're going to start making the sauce for this pan-fried tofu dish. Just a little bit of olive oil, and we're going to start heating the garlic.
On low, correct?
Yep,
In
on
low
low.
frame. You don't
Want to
low
burn
flame,
the
yeah,
garlic,
yeah.
so just put that in there.
Okay.
Look at the difference.
Yep.
Just grab it.
Great.
And for the sauce, I'm going to do a little bit of cornstarch just to thicken it up. So I'm going to do a little bit more than a teaspoon.
All right.
And then just mix it with warm water. You just want to make sure that it dissolves So you don't get any clumps. You can just stir the clumps out of it. And then we're going to add some soy sauce to it.
Okay, yeah. Hang on a minute, Connie. All
So
right, so you put, dissolve the cornstarch in the warm water.
And then
Some soy sauce.
you can add the soy sauce to taste.
Okay.
Just mix it in.
All right. And you're going to provide me with all these measurements later so I can put this recipe on my website, viewer, so you don't have to remember anything. Relax. So, well, I'll have these on my website, www.lindas.kitchen. I'm sorry, www.lindas-kitchen.com.
Okay, so we're just going to keep browning the garlic a little bit.
A little more oil, or is that good?
Yeah, we can put a little bit more in there.
Okay. Now, can you use sesame, canola, anything like that, or you just like the olive oil?
I like the flavor of olive oil.
Okay.
If you want a little bit more flavor with the sesame, that would work too.
Okay.
Canola works as well.
Canola, okay.
All right.
Love the smell of that garlic.
Always. So now we're just going to add the sauce into it.
Then simmer, and we're going to reduce it. Okay.
And then once it thickens a little, we'll add everything back into it to get the flavor of it
Okay.
and to reheat the tofu and the meat through.
Oh, all right. And then it's done?
Yep. And then we'll garnish with the scallions that you chopped.
Okay. I like this dish too because it's simple. It really is. I mean, it's a few steps, but it's all easy. It's mainly ingredients that you're going to keep around your house. And now that you've learned how to work with tofu, you're going to keep a package of tofu in your house.
It's
correct?
easier than you think.
And you know, the other thing too I noticed, usually the dates are out pretty far. So if you
it's usually like 2 months.
So you can grab a package of tofu. You don't have to worry about, oh, I've got to use it this week. So.
And also at home, you know, you have more than one burner, so you can do, you know, multiple things at once. You can brown the tofu, and then you can make the sauce on a different burner. So it'll be a little bit quicker.
Right. We're doing this all for the viewers today, so.
So you can see it's starting to thicken a little bit. So now that the sauce is thickening a little bit, I'm going to add the ground turkey back into it. Just so it gets all the flavor of the sauce. And then I'm also going to add the tofu back into it as well. So now it gets all the flavors.
All right, it's still simmering. You keep it at a simmer. Let me get this out of the way.
Just add the tofu in carefully so we don't break them up.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I like the size of those tofu.
Just leave it in for a minute or so everything can heat back through.
Oh, it smells great. This dish reheat well?
It reheats really well.
Okay.
It's really juicy because of the extra sauce that we made, so it won't dry out. There's usually not a lot left, so.
Okay. And you can serve this, what would you serve this with?
You could serve it with rice
Okay.
and some vegetables on the side.
All right.
But I usually find that it's so hearty that you don't need anything else because you have double the protein. And
Okay. So it's good for low-carb people out there, right? If you want to eliminate the rice, here's a good one for you, you low-carb people. It's not me, but...
and it's a good low carb that's not high in fat.
Yeah, that's true, because that's what I don't like about a lot of the low-carb diets, is there's so much fat, and a lot of it is bad fat.
Yep.
This is all good stuff.
It's all good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, low-fat proteins and...
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's pretty much heated through.
All right.
I'm just going to add the scallions in so they can heat up a little bit. And then at this point, you know, you can taste it and adjust the seasoning if you want a little bit more spice. I like it pretty spicy, so.
Okay.
we can put a little more pepper flake in if you feel like it. Or
Okay, or you introduced us to a sauce the last time you were on the program. Could you add a little sriracha?
you could add sriracha to it. It might make it a little bit too spicy, but sriracha is always good. So, all right, so now we can just plate this. Okay.
And your parents are here today to
They
join
are.
us for this feast.
Yep.
So
They came to oversee the tofu making. So
that's terrific. So I'd like to introduce at this time Connie's parents and Marigold Cheung.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you. And Ron.
Hi, how are
So good. So you're looking forward to eating?
Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
after you've been smelling it and observing. So yeah.
you? It looks good.
So we're going to be seated in the dining room and we'll put this nice dish together with our baked tofu that we made earlier. Thank you for joining myself and Connie today, as I hope we've taken the terror out of using tofu. And now I'm going to sit down and join my guests in this wonderful meal of the baked tofu we did earlier, one with buffalo sauce, the other with oyster sauce, and our main dish of turkey and tofu. And I've just added some rice to the dish, and you could always add a nice side dish of vegetables. So thank you for joining me, www.lindas-kitchen.com.